Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of what it's now called the Roundup. I'm glad to have once again special guest Mrs. Avi Summers. How you doing, Avi?
I'm good. Always nice to be back on the Roundup with you.
Good to have you back in here. I mean, you helped me out with the name, so I really appreciate it. That's how it's going to be called now. From now on. So, all right, let's get quick into it. Last week, 2 wins. We scored 5 goals. We only conceded one. It was really what we actually expected. Fulham was a bit more tough game. I don't know what you think about that. And Palace, I think it just opened up after the second half. What do you think, Abby?
I think with the Fulham game, I thought the first half we looked quite good. I think that we could have, it's been 2-3 maybe up at the time we went into half time. And then I think what happened is that the attacking players come off in terms of like Bale, who was obviously having quite a good game. I felt was creating chances. Obviously he's come off, and then we kind of just sat back. Got very, very lucky with that handball decision. And then it looks like it was probably going to end up as a draw, but I guess we managed to see it through. The luck was in our favour. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, especially the run that we've been on as well. So I was happy to see 3 points carry on, building that confidence. Technically it was another clean sheet, which is, what they've really needed that type of stability at the back. So I was happy to take it. It wasn't our best performance, but I've seen us play far worse this season. So it was a good thing to build. It was a good thing to build for us, build upon.
Sure, yeah, and then another special thing that we saw on that match was the front four. It was Bale, it was Dele Alli, Son, and Kane. It seemed to be that they played somehow good, at the beginning of the game, but then after that, I don't know if maybe Jose wanted to be defensive. He ended up pulling out Bale and Dele Alli as well. So how did you see that they played? After so many speculations, if we were going to see all four of them together.
I enjoyed it. I was very happy to see all four of them in the lineup. It made a pleasant surprise for seeing us sit back and defend. I think Jose's finally realised that we cannot, rely on that style of football, even though that's what he wants us to play. We don't have the quality in order to do that defensively. And I think he's realised you have to utilise your assets, which is moving forward and attacking the game and going forward. I wasn't surprised necessarily to see them come off, especially with fitness-wise. We've got so many games. Managing Gareth Bale's fitness is really paramount to how this back end of the season is going to finish for us. Dele Alli obviously hadn't started really, hardly at all, in the last kind of 6 months. So again, that's managing him and being able to, manage his fitness. But it was a job that needed to be done. It was a game that we could have probably drawn, or how we did the last time, just after Christmas, if I recall. And I'm glad that we managed to hang on despite that decision. That was obviously in our favour. We still managed to keep a clean sheet. We still managed to see it out, and we managed to play attacking football for, I'd say, maybe 55 minutes. So that was an improvement. So it was baby steps for Jose at that point.
It really was, yeah. It doesn't matter how you get the 3 points, but you just have to get them at this point. At this point of the season, you have to get, no matter what, the win. And then on Sunday with the Crystal Palace 4-1, it was kind of it was a bit weird of the first 45 minutes. They tied before the break, and then after that, it seemed like, I don't know, like maybe Crystal Palace was gonna attack a little bit more, but it was quite different, It only took us about 5 minutes to score the second goal. How did you see that game? I think that's one of the best games we played since the beginning of the year, pretty much. What do you think, Epi?
Yeah, I think going in at half time being 1-1 was, you probably thought their heads were going to drop a little bit, but actually it's the opposite. I felt the first half, I felt we were a little bit boring first half, despite having everyone on. We did make chances. Bale was having a good game, but I didn't feel like anyone else was really doing much in that first half. Obviously, we conceded. We went in half time, and I think it actually gave them the kick they needed to come back out. attack the game. And obviously we saw some amazing individual brilliant moments from Harry Kane, Gareth Bale as well. So it's an area which I think is very positive for us. It's clicking potentially at the right time. We've gone 8 weeks without really having much joy, without anything going in our favour. And now we've got a North London derby coming up. We're getting into the business end of the season with the Europa League. And this is where it needs to be clicking. And having someone like Gareth Bale in that front three, which is what we've all wanted all season, for various reasons, it hasn't worked out until now. But if this could be the difference, you look at how far you are from, fourth in the table. It's really a matter of, like 4, 5, 6 points. It's really not that much. And every game Tottenham have to win, going into Sunday, it's very, very important. You'd always take a draw in a derby, but it's very, very important for Tottenham if they're going to push on and continue the run. Form goes out the window in a derby anyway, so it's always just whatever happens on the day, I guess. But yeah, I was happy with Palace, and Palace are hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes they can be really brilliant on the day, and sometimes they can be awful. And I think that the second half, I think Tottenham played to our own strengths. And I think Palace helped us in the way that they tried to open up and go for the game. And obviously we could counter-attack. Well, when we can counter-attack, we can counter-attack with the best of them. So I think that definitely helped us.
Yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of positives to take from that game, especially two players scoring 2 goals, like Gareth Bale and then Harry Kane. So Gareth Bale, talk to me about his form. Definitely, that's a player that we all wanted to see when he came in. Who do you give the recognition to Gareth Bale himself, or to maybe Mourinho for maybe putting him back into that form? Who do you give that?
I think it's both. I think that, Gareth would have wanted to come back and prove a point. I don't think for a second that he enjoyed spending those months on the bench. We all know that Gareth Bale was a very, very injury-prone player. He was during his first spell when he was much younger at Tottenham. He has been the whole time at Madrid, and he came back and he was already injured, when he came back. So to manage that, and to manage his fitness levels, get him back to where he needs to be, is difficult, and it's a task to do that. Plus, on top of it, La Liga is a totally different league to the Premier League. The fitness levels don't even compare, and you hear so many stories of players that come over from different leagues and say the physicality of the Premier League is crazy, and it takes you a while to adjust. And yes, he's played in the league before, but he hasn't played in it for 7-8 years. And for someone who's been out injured, has hardly played in the last season or so at Madrid, even before that, to also have an injury, to be injury prone, and to come back, and then you want him to come back with a bang and go straight in. I think maybe we were all expecting a little bit too much of just how his fitness had dropped being at Madrid, and those repercussions. But you have to also credit Jose, because he's obviously managed him very, very well off the pitch. Jose gets a lot of criticism, and sometimes it's rightly so, and sometimes it's wrong. And I think that in this situation, what we don't know behind closed doors, what goes on in the training ground, and the stats and things like that, he's managed him well, and he's given him minutes here and there. He's built it up bit by bit in the Europa League, and now he's back. He's showing signs of being the old Gareth Bale, or the new version of Gareth Bale. He's not going to necessarily make the runs that we all saw him do against Inter Milan back in the day, but that's not Gareth Bale anymore. He's adapting his game, and he can play. He can play in the 9, he can play in the 10. He can float. He can kind of do and be in whatever position you want. And so far, we've been very lucky that we haven't had a big injury to Harry Kane and things like that, where we'd have to see Bale, slot into that role, which I have no doubt he'd be able to fill. But it's going to be very important for Tottenham to keep him fit and keep Harry Kane fit as well, because we've seen, even for a few games when he drops out, how difficult it is without Kane. And we know that Bale's fitness also has been managed accordingly, and we can't expect to probably see him play every single game. It's probably not going to happen. And if it does, I can only see him coming on for 20 minutes here and there, maybe in a game like tonight when you've got Arsenal in a few days' time. I would be very surprised to see Gareth Bale starting and playing a full 90 minutes. I'd be very surprised. But I guess it's all dependent on his fitness. But I don't think that Jose would want to take a risk when he's just hitting form. Gareth will want to play in that derby. And he'll want to keep himself fit. He'll be looking at that trophy on the 25th of April and potentially bringing that home.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And I bet Gareth Bale does want to play that game on Sunday. He's anxious, probably. That's what he came for, pretty much. back to Tottenham. And well, after these 2 games and these 6 points, we're currently sitting 7th on the table with the game on hand. I mean, that has to be mentioned. Obviously, we're 5 points away from Chelsea, that are 4th, and they have 50 points. So I mean, it's still on the hand, right? I mean, it's still catchable.
Oh, absolutely. Look, it's looking a lot better than it did. As I said earlier, the gap between, kind of 8th, 9th, 10th to 4th is really not that big. You go on a little bit of a run, you can close that gap pretty quickly. And I think that's what Tottenham have to focus on doing. They have to try and win every game, and we know they're not going to win every game, but teams around them will drop off. I don't believe that West Ham will be up there come the end of the season. I think it only takes maybe 1 or 2 injuries for them to affect their season. Same with Leicester. I felt they were lucky against Brighton to get the 3 points. With all their injuries, we see Liverpool, so many injuries there. They are just completely out of form. I think it will be a very different looking top 4 this year. I don't know whether or not Tottenham will scrape into it. I really don't know. It really depends what type of focus he ends up giving the Europa League as the season goes on, and what he wants to prioritise. For me, I think he'll be prioritising that because, if you win it, you can get Champions League football anyway. And also it's a trophy, and we all know that Jose, his bread and butter is trophies. But we'll see. We'll see what happens as the season goes on. But it's very tight, and I think that if Tottenham can just keep picking up points and go on a bit of a run, it's not out of the question that they can do it.
Yeah, it's still catchable, and I mean, a lot of teams do in favor. Like, I don't know, maybe Liverpool. Losing to like lower, lower table teams. That's really helping us a lot. So, I mean, yeah, we're really hoping for a Champions League spot for next season. And well, I mean, it's about I don't know, probably like a 2.5 hour from kickoff tonight against Dinamo Zagreb in the Europa League. They're currently sitting first on the Croatian league. It's pretty much them, I mean, the team that I know, pretty much. So I personally think that the real competition in this tournament is going to start tonight, just because the other 7 teams were not really that competitive, besides that. Yeah, maybe some teams, maybe they tied against Spurs, or maybe they beat Spurs even, but I think they weren't that strong. I think this opponent is going to be really tough tonight. The real competition starts tonight. I don't know what you think, Abby.
Yeah, I think it's a marathon, the Europa League, and you have to get through a lot of games to get to the good stuff. Zagreb, they're a good team. We have faced them before. In terms of the draw, I guess that it was slightly kinder to us. When you think we could have had AC Milan and Roma and teams like that. We did well, I think, and also like Ajax. It's difficult. I think we did well to get Zagreb, but I don't think for any moment we should look at them as the same as Wolfsberger. It's a totally different game. They're a much better team. They've produced the likes of Luka Modric, Nico Kranjčar. They're a force to be reckoned with. Just because they're in Croatia and we don't know much about the league makes no difference. They're still a good team. They're always there or thereabouts in the Europa League, and always challenging. So yeah, I think it'll be tough. I'd like to say having actually the home leg first might be a good advantage for us. The form we've been on at the moment, so let's pick up the points and try and get the job done tonight, which would be nice. Same as like Wolfsberger, let's try and get it done in the first leg, and then obviously let's focus on Sunday. To me, I don't think it makes a difference if we were to go there first and whatever. I think that I think that if anything, it's probably helping us in terms of Sunday. Actually, not having to do that journey. So I had no issue with the fixture rotation on that.
Yeah,
fine by me. And I think it will be interesting. We'll see what type of team he puts out, whether or not he goes half and half and saving some people for Sunday, and wants to make some changes at half time, try and get the job done. But again, defense is going to be really, really important. Don't know if he'll keep the same line. I suspect he probably won't play Toby. I think he'll struggle to do the 3 games in a week. So I think we'll see someone maybe come in alongside Davinson Sanchez.
Dyer
obviously,
probably. Who knows?
well, yeah, we know that it's not going to be Roden. Roden isn't in the Europa
Yeah.
League squad, unfortunately. So I would assume that probably would be Eric Dyer.
Mhm.
Maybe we'd see someone like Tanganga back there potentially, but he doesn't like to play him at centre back. I think he's a good centre back, but he prefers to not keep him there. So I think that's where we could probably see most of the changes tonight. A little bit of rotation in midfield, and we'll see. I think he'll have one eye on both games. It's a very big week for Tottenham.
Absolutely. Abby, any score predictions for tonight's game?
I'm gonna go with maybe like a 2-0. I think that I think that's a nice lead to take out there, and I think that we will get half of the job done tonight.
Yeah,
as much as I'd like it to be a 4-0, I'm not gonna think that it's gonna be that easy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a much tougher team, so I will definitely go for 2-0. Yeah. All right, so let's jump into North London Derby. This Sunday we face Arsenal. It's going to be another North London Derby. We beat them in the first tie back in I think it was September, October. I don't know. It was back there. What do you expect from this game? I personally think that we're better than Arsenal. Anytime that you're listening to this, we are better than Arsenal. I don't know. I've seen a couple of games from them, and they're really not that scary. I don't think I don't think they're really that good. So what do you expect? I mean, from this game. Sorry, Abby.
Look, Arsenal is Arsenal at the end of the day, and like I said earlier, form always goes out the window on a derby. So it's
right,
hard.
Right.
We haven't been great. They definitely haven't been very good either. In terms of quality and depth, I'd say that we probably edge it a little bit more going forward. But they've got Aubameyang. It's still not someone to joke and laugh at. He can really do damage to you on the day. Same with Lacazette. Also, you've got Smith Rowe. I don't know if he's fit or not, but if he's playing Bukayo Saka as well, they do have some attacking threat, and it is going to be tough for Tottenham defensively, and that's where they're going to have to be on their game. They're going to have to try and dominate the midfield, which we don't tend to dominate a lot of the time in games lately, and also be really sharp at the back, and that's where we're going to either win or lose this game. It's going to be in between those two areas, but I would hope that Tottenham have enough going forward to hurt them. And I think if Gareth Bale is fit and Son, I think that's a pretty good attack to have. And I think that it doesn't matter if you're playing Burnley, Fulham, or Arsenal. I think that strikes the fear of God into any defence.
Absolutely.
It'll be an interesting game. I really don't know how it's going to go. I can't really call it. I'd probably go with the draw, maybe a score draw, as I don't think that we'll keep a clean sheet. But like I said, you would take a draw in a derby anyway, and we'll see. Be an interesting game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so you're saying a draw, right? That is your prediction?
My prediction is a draw. I think that both teams will score, so I don't know if it'll be. I think it might be something like 2-2 because I know that we both can't defend. That's my prediction for this weekend. All
right. Well, not looking good for this weekend. I mean, at least we're not losing, but I mean, we're tying, right?
I'm a pessimist when it comes to derbies. I've learnt my lesson before. We can be on an unbeaten run of 10 games, and you'll play Arsenal or Chelsea, and it'll go out the window. So always have. Yeah. So I'm always skeptical with derbies. I'd always just rather take the draw. When I'm giving a prediction. Obviously, I'd like to see us win. It would be fantastic and amazing for confidence going into the rest of the season. I think that's probably what they'd actually really need. But whether or not it happens, who knows? True.
Yeah. I mean, let's just try to, I don't know, maybe just to keep it cool, like you said. I would definitely go for a 2-1 win. I think we're going to concede, but we are going to win 2-1.
I like it. I like your positivity.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Abby. And then just to wrap it up, any favorite memories from the North London Derby?
Oh, there's so many.
Since you've seen so many, yeah.
There's so many. There's my favorite of memory will always be Danny Rose, that goal. It always sticks in my mind. I remember the commentary. I remember I was there. I remember seeing it hit the back of the net. Crazy. That's my favorite. You know, the 4-4 right at the death, Aaron Lennon scores the goal.
That's the one I was going to mention. Yeah, definitely.
You know, I love Harry. You know, Harry Kane's goal from just outside the box when he whips it in. It should have won the game, and it didn't win the game, but it should have won the game. When he had the mask on. Again at Wembley, Hugo saving the penalty in the last minute. Not my favourite moment, not my favourite game, because I don't want that to happen in like the 91st minute of the game. But
true.
amazing save, amazing reaction, proper North London derby, like going to the death. There's so many over the years, you know, that you can think of. Just it's always a good game. You know, I used to get really wound up by the derbies. I used to hate Derby Day. But I think that the thing is, I don't think we necessarily fear Arsenal how we used to. I think that we're both at a transitional stage, and I think that it's just who's going to win on the day. I don't think it's not necessarily a quality derby anymore. How, you know, you used to see Arsenal with Henry and Pires and things like that, and you used to think, oh my god, you know, I don't want to even see this game. I think it's a lot fair. It's much fairer now. It's much more evenly matched.
It is, and then we actually have a chance to win it now, right?
Yeah, of course. You know, there were years where you think, oh my god, I dread it because we're never going to win against them. But times have changed, and we'll see how we both do on Sunday.
Exactly. All right, Abby. Well, thank you so much for this episode of the Roundup. Any social media where our fans can can go follow you?
Yeah, on Twitter it's at Abby_Summers, and on Instagram it is just at Abby Summers.
Sounds good. All righty, guys. And just a quick reminder to follow us in all of our pages. You can follow us on Facebook. We are as Fuera del Aire, and also on Instagram as at Fuera del Aire Uno. And you can find this episode of the Roundup and many other interviews in our YouTube channel. And you can find us as Fuera del Aire. This was the Roundup, and we'll see you next time. All right, Abby. Thank you so much.
See you next time.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.